threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Coming at you with podcast.
Yes, sir.
We
How's it
should
going?
have started with a campfire.
Oh, we should have. That would have been a great idea. We should have just started a little campfire
I
here
pretty
in the
much just
studio.
sounded just like one.
I thought there was a fire in here. I'm like, wait, we better stop
Why
this. It sounded exactly like a fire.
Yep.
Yeah, Cam, what are we talking about today?
Well, it's a good time of year for people to get out, start thinking about camping because they've been hunkered down for awful winter.
Mm-hmm.
And so we wanted to talk about how you can apply your camping skills to your prepping skill. Like, how can you use both to help each of them? But basically, camping for prepping.
Camping for preppers.
Prepping.
Prepping. Prepsersing.
Prepping with the camping and the preps. Prepping your
Exactly.
camps for prepping.
And
Basically how there's a crossover. That's
Yeah,
all I wanted
exactly.
to say. And I said it the worst way possible.
That's all right.
As usual.
we got through it, though, right?
We did.
Before we get into this, though, I got to tell you about BattleBox. It is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, campers,
Yes.
Survivalists?
Most of my stuff is from BattleBox that I camp with.
Like 90% of my camping gear has come from BattleBox. I should be camping all summer long because I got every piece of gear known to man.
Seriously.
You know?
Pretty much all my camping gear came from them.
Yeah, each month, BattleBox
good
sends
camping gear.
The good camping gear sends you the coolest selection of handpicked outdoor survival, camping, and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you'd normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here's a sampling of what users received this month. I'm really excited about this. The Batterix Power Card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a brand new sponsor of ours for our 5 Questions podcast, and there's one in the Battle Box. That's cool.
That is awesome.
I'm excited about that. Then the Climate Versa blanket. You could take that camping.
So much better. I hate sleeping bags.
They're the worst.
They are.
They're also good.
Yeah. They're great, but they suck.
Exactly. Kind of like us.
Exactly.
Yeah. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first battle box plus a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
It does. Deb Kessler.
Deb Kessler.
I have been listening to Casual Preppers for a while now. I have learned so much from them, but equally important is the entertainment I get each week.
Aw.
Best Russian accent. I messed that one up.
Yeah, the
Best.
best.
This is the best Russian accent impression ever.
Yeah.
Thanks for the information, guys, and the laughs. Stay survived.
That was kind of Deb.
Thanks, Deb.
Deb, you are the best.
Seriously.
Yeah, if you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave us a 5-star review, and make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Man, yeah, you kind of took the one that I was going to take, so I went with something a little weird.
Do it, please.
It's super weird. A nurse in Canada, and nurses are your favorite, we know this, Cameron, is trying to understand what her trail camera caught when she left it pointed at a deer carcass on her property in order to capture wildlife. The 36-year-old Corinnia Stanhope told Kennedy News that she had been riding her horse on her property when she discovered the carcass of a deer. Happens all the time, right?
She's like, perfect. I want to see a bear come eat it.
Yeah, so she...
Or a Bigfoot.
Whatever. So after her and her grandfather set up a camera, checked the video later. She was stunned to what appeared to be two...
A Jedi crawled out of it.
Yeah, two nearly naked figures hovering over the carcass.
Okay.
Uh-huh. She said, I don't know what the heck was up with that, says Stanhope. It really freaked us out. It's not something you see every day. At least one of the figures appears to be a woman, and they have rags covering their private areas.
What?
It looks like they have wigs on, says Stanhope. One looks like she has blonde hair underneath.
Underneath
the wig.
Okay.
Underneath the wig. Cameron.
All right. I'm
Yes.
following.
You're with me now? Okay. One still image from the video appeared to show one of the two holding the hoof of the deer to her face.
That'll be a good hoof.
She said,
Take a wolf of the hoof.
I don't know if she was kissing it, smelling, or eating it, but to touch a decaying carcass like that makes me feel sick, she said.
Yeah.
She said the camera also caught a bobcat near the carcass. So that's something that you would.
If I see a
accept.
dead animal, I'm putting up a camera.
Yeah. Commentators online have opined that the two people could be ghostly spirits, satanic cult members, or
Of course.
witches. You want to see the picture?
Yeah, I
They
do.
have a picture. I'll show you.
I'll
Cam.
show that blonde hair.
Brace yourself.
Okay.
Brace yourself for this, because this is the picture.
What the?
Are you scared? I'm slightly
that's
scared.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah, dude. So if you guys want to see it, it's
Where
all
was this at? What?
Canada somewhere.
Oh, okay.
They
Well,
got all those fires up there.
Jeez.
They ain't thinking
They
straight.
got a lot going on up now.
Yeah.
Let's do a mad world for Canada.
No kidding. So, anyways, be careful about dead deer and satanic cults and witches and blonde ladies with wigs on. With no shirt on. She's naked.
I know. It's like,
Yeah.
I smell that hoof.
Give me that hoof. Give me a whiff of that hoof.
Hoof. Wow,
Hoover
that's
it.
weird.
Yeah, weird stuff, huh?
Not so weird. And you guys, I mean, this isn't news to you because it's all over everywhere
Maybe
right now.
it's news. I
I don't know. So air quality alerts continue in U.S. as Canadian wildfire smoke spreads.
Yeah.
Smoke from the Canadian wildfires continues to trigger air quality alerts in the U.S., with health officials warning people, especially those in the sensitive groups. You know, there's a lot of those nowadays.
sensitive.
There's billions
Yeah.
of them, such as children, elderly, and
Democrats.
the left wing. And
Just kidding. We love the Democrats.
yeah, just kidding. Or the respiratory
tell you what,
conditions to their
The Republicans are just as sensitive
Oh my
these
gosh,
days.
big time.
Yeah.
Both sides have some real sensitive groups.
They're all very sensitive.
But these pictures show just what Vernal looks like every summer.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's
I
like
know, huh?
they're like talking about. I mean, New York looks pretty bad
Oh,
right
it's
now,
bad.
and DC, it's all like blackout basically because of the smoke. Like I think flights are canceled.
Yeah,
and
so
things
my,
like-
my daughter was flying back from New
Oh,
York.
that's
She was
right.
in New York this
Did you
week.
say it was really bad?
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. It was like really the day they were
more
leaving.
than just New York.
Yeah, more than just New York. The day they were leaving is when it got real bad. But like she left like 6 hours before they shut down the airport.
Yeah.
She got out. She got
That's
out.
crazy. And I'm not saying New York's dirty. I'm just saying there's a lot of pollution there,
There is,
probably
yeah,
because
yeah.
a lot of people. But these pictures show that you can barely. I mean, it's super hazy.
Oh,
you
man,
can't see
yeah.
anything. We're pretty used to it here in Vernal. I don't know why. California smoke comes this way. Canadian smoke. We had this like 3 weeks ago. It was pretty bad. But anyways, it just makes you think about a lot of different environmental like risks that can basically make everything way worse. Your health, you can't go outside. You don't want. I mean, you're not going to bug out in something like that for very long.
Yeah, it makes you consider a good respirator, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Because if it got much worse, what would you
You got
do?
your dialysis machine.
You gotta have two.
You got to get
You gotta
the
have a mobile-
respirator and
You gotta have a mobile dialysis machine. You gotta have one at the house.
Yep.
But yeah, some of the videos I saw, it was like straight up apocalyptic.
It is. It's bad.
In New York. It was crazy looking.
And I don't know, maybe the East doesn't get that as much. The West,
know.
it's like we're always
Constantly.
buried. We're always like choked
Yeah.
out by smoke. It's super irritating.
Yeah.
But anyways, mad world.
Full show. Cameron, let's talk about camping for preppers. We, as preppers, we like to be outside. We like to camp,
Yeah.
right? It's part of kind of who we are because it really sort of, in some ways, ties back into our preparedness.
It does.
Right?
A lot of it does. And I've used it as ways to get more prepping gear.
Yes.
By telling my wife, this would be great for camping.
Exactly.
Still boxed up. Won't use it.
But we
'cause
got
it's
it.
for preparedness.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I grew up camping. My parents always, we'd take like 1 or 2 trips a year, big camping trip, which is only like 3 or 4 days for us.
Yeah, for me
Because
too.
you'd leave the dairy farm and it would just like crumble. Like as soon as
Yeah.
you drove out, like somebody would call within 15 minutes, calves are out, what do we do? It's like, good freak.
Exactly.
You can never leave anything behind.
It's funny too because like me growing up, like I the only vacations I ever went on were camping.
Yeah.
Like my dad just didn't believe in
Yeah.
vacation.
That was ours were pretty much camping trips too.
I went on
We never
one-
stayed in hotels ever.
no.
And
Yeah.
we at least had a trailer. We didn't have
Oh,
to
you
stay
did.
in the tent all the time.
I stayed in a tent.
Did you? Yeah.
much.
My parents brought them because we usually, like, some of us would stay out in the tent.
Yeah.
But we'd have the camper. But not like a fancy camper.
No.
And again, I was going to mention this, that this episode is about those that have truly, like, camped. And I know true camping for some is like hovering over deer bare naked out in the forest.
And when I think of camping, that's usually what comes to mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, bare minimum stuff, and they're really roughing it. But just getting out in the wilderness. I'm not talking about those people that have like a 65-foot trailer, 70-inch TV, AC, generators going 24/7.
Yeah.
Those drive me nuts.
It's
you go
actually-
into this really nice campground, and there's this trailer, and they never leave it, and their generators run 24/7. I'm like, come on.
It's like nicer than my house.
It is. They are.
Yeah.
They're super nice inside. Maybe you'll learn some stuff there.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm just saying.
You definitely would, but it's
anyway.
different. Yeah.
But yeah, growing up, I mean, this is where I learned a lot of my outdoor stuff, which, to be honest with you, I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. When my wife's like, let's go camping this weekend, I'm like, shh.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's tough.
It is.
Because it's tough to leave the comfort of your bedroom and to go out without, it's hard to leave and do it.
Well,
But when you get out there, you're like, oh man,
It's
this
great,
is
yeah.
super nice.
the hard thing is it's harder when it's family.
It
When you
is.
have your kids, you have your wife, you're trying to keep everybody happy. You're trying to, it's not easy. If it was like, hey, you and I are going to go camping, like, oh yeah, that's easy.
It's
that's
true.
fun.
When it's just boys.
It's just like, it's because you don't,
Well,
yeah.
or friends.
just boys.
Just boys.
No, but you know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
different. It's like,
It's
okay
worse
to
when
rough
it's
it.
like a church event or a work event.
Oh, it's the worst. Yes, exactly. I've never gone camping for work. I guess it sort of is if you and I go, but you know what
true,
I mean.
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah. But I know people do that, like these little getaways to like build,
Yeah.
work strength and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking
I'm
about.
building up my work strength.
Work strength, communications, and team building. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, yeah.
I think we went as a football team and camped out.
Did you?
And then did like the little obstacle course one year. And
yeah.
I was like, this sucks.
Camping
It was
not
actually
fun.
fun. But yeah, I mean, when we went camping, I learned a lot about like living outdoors. Learned how to fish, clean fish, start fires, build a tent, spray bug spray in my eyes, spray bug spray in my brother's eyes, burn my fingers, start half the camp on fire by sticking a roasting stick in there, getting in trouble for jumping, falling in the river. I'd say falling in the river, but I used to jump in at my, learned to listen to my dad swear at trailer lights never working right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then, I even learned patience because I rolled my fingers up in the Bronco rear window.
Oh.
As we're traveling to, I think like North Dakota, my dad's like, well, you're stuck. I'm not stopping
No way.
forever. And I had to pull my fingers out. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
anyway.
Yeah.
So let's just say I learned a lot of survival stuff
See,
while camping.
I did go camping quite a bit. Most of the time when it was camping, it was like me and my dad like hunting or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I mean? So
See, my family didn't hunt.
there was a lot less of like, hey, the whole family was going to go camping. Because usually every summer I was at the lodge anyways, my grandpa's lodge.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit like camping all summer
For sure.
long,
I
you know?
would say so,
So
up
it was-
there.
I was like, I don't really want to go camping. I've been there for 3 months. You know what I mean? But so mostly it was like hunting. Me and my dad, so it was like really like primitive. Like
That's the thing.
We
see.
took a tarp.
I think hunting gives people
Yeah.
like a much deeper experience that way.
Right.
I didn't do that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, you learn a lot of stuff about camping and how to improvise and how to like make things comfortable.
Yeah.
Some ways that camping and prepping are similar. Both are not that comfortable. You learn how to like cope with being uncomfortable without AC and without heating, and you learn how to like find ways to sleep, because that's probably my biggest complaint
Yeah,
about
me too.
camping is you just sleep like crap. Your face freezes off. The rest of you's too hot. It's just hard.
I'm not one of those people that just like lays down and falls asleep.
Me
I
either.
wish I was
Me
so bad.
too. I
I
have a
envy
problem.
those people like you wouldn't believe.
I do
It's
too.
like a superpower.
I do too.
I want to just lay down somewhere and just be able to sleep like no matter what, but it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, me
You
either.
know?
I have the same problem.
Yeah.
That's why I sleep with a hatchet and have
Yeah.
Ambien in my bloodstream.
Good gracious.
It's scary.
That was a night to remember.
Actually, it was
for me.
Lunesta that I had
Yeah.
at that time.
We went camping. Cam and I went camping.
It was like samples of Lunesta.
yeah.
Had a hatchet next to me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, Kobe. I was out.
And then he
But
was
I
like,
wasn't.
he was like chanting things. I don't know what he was saying. He was saying weird stuff, and I looked over, and that
Yeah,
hatchet's
my
like,
conscience was gone.
Yeah.
But the rest was taken over.
yeah. I was like, I'm not scared of no mountain lions. I'm not scared of no Sasquatch. I'm scared of Cameron next to me.
Yeah.
And we were in different tents even. We weren't even in the same tent.
Yeah. No. This next time, you might want to be like, let's practice practice a hostage situation. I want to
I'm gonna tie you
tie
up.
you up and then let you go back.
Don't let me tie you up if that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, no kidding. We're camping, we're tying each other up.
I'm gonna tie you up, boy. We're gonna make this real.
We're trying to learn stuff.
This is how my daddy used to camp.
My uncles would take me and they'd tie me up.
My uncles would tie me up every time. Dad wouldn't see me for 3 days.
That's camping. That's camping, all right.
All brings back the memories. PTSD, more like it.
It also, like, camping helps you be more resourceful.
Mm.
You know, you really have to learn how to use that water efficiently.
You do, yeah.
Because you can't pack a lot of it. And you don't want to use those filters all the time. And so it teaches you a lot of things that way. Also,
We didn't have filters when I was little.
I didn't either.
We just drank out of the river.
I did too. My mom would boil it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then it'd just sit all night with pine needles and stuff
Yeah.
falling in it. And then we would just drink out
I
of
was
it.
thinking about that the other day. I'm like, we went camping a lot or like hunting a lot. Never once did we have a water filter.
I
I'm
never
like,
filtered either.
what was my dad putting in my
Yeah.
body? Just like
I know.
river water.
Yeah, we did too. We used
You know?
to camp up in Idaho, like near Jackson.
Yeah.
And we'd go fishing. And most of the time, we didn't have water bottles or anything.
No.
That didn't come out till what? Like
I don't know.
late 90s? I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to think it was so stupid. Now I have a water bottle with me all the time.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
yeah, we
I was
did.
thinking
We
about
drank
that
out
the
of the
other day.
stream a lot. That's
Yeah.
true. That's why I have all my bowel issues probably.
Probably,
Still
yeah.
have Giardia. But both require good physical health, like
For sure, yeah.
strength, packing and hiking and stuff. Man, it wears you out, and so
For
you
sure.
gotta. This kind of helps you realize, well, if I'm gonna be bugging out, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
Both require patience and living in discomfort, like I was talking about. You don't have your AC. You don't have. You have to expect to have some boredom, which is unusual for us.
And it's very unusual for kids.
Yeah, they don't know how to like deal with boredom.
It
and
makes me so upset.
Me too.
Like,
I'm like, I was bored and I found things to do all the time.
nothing makes me more mad than when my kids come in, like in the middle of the summer, like, I'm bored. I'm like,
Me too.
I don't
man.
care.
It gets me so
Like, I
mad.
could not care less.
You
if
are
you're
not
bored.
going to school. You don't have a job. Like, enjoy all of this.
Go play in the dirt. Look at the grass. I don't care. Like,
at the grass.
do something. Like, I keep telling him, like, if my dad, if I would have went up to my dad when I was little, I'm like, Dad, I'm bored. He'd have been like, well, here's 15 chores. Get
That's
it done.
exactly what happened to me.
Every single time.
Here's a
That's what he'd-
paintbrush. Go paint the cow,
Yes.
like the manger.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like, there would
You do
there's
not
no,
say boredom.
You just leave as fast as you can. You leave the house as fast as you can so he doesn't give you more chores to
Yep.
do.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, when I'd finish my chores and I'd take off my stuff and I'd come in, I'd hear the screen door open.
Yeah.
And I would like hide behind the couch.
Yes.
So I was like, he's going to make me do more. And I already took all my work clothes off.
Yes, that's it. I just wish I could get it through their brains that that's how it was. It's
Yeah.
not just like mom was taking us 8,000 places
That's
a
what,
day.
see, I didn't do any of that either.
Never once did my mom do that.
I know. My
Never
wife-
once.
We're all venting about all this.
I know.
But my kids do the same thing. So that's
Yeah.
one thing I do like about camping is they find things to do a little bit
Yes.
more. My kids, I gave them a hatchet. Man, it like for like 6 hours straight, they was chopping everything.
Yeah, fingers.
Fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocks.
Live trees, everything. They're chopping it all up.
You know how many live trees I chopped down when I was a kid?
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Didn't matter.
they'd send me
Nobody
to prison.
told me there was a problem.
If anybody
Didn't
knew, I'd be in prison right now.
I know.
What you in for?
Yeah.
Chop down live trees.
I cut down about 6 live trees.
6,000 live trees.
Yeah, that's funny because my kids do. They were chopping. I'm like, no, that's a live one.
Yeah,
And
don't
I'm
do
like,
that.
I don't think I ever.
No.
But yeah. So you really learn how to deal with boredom, and it gives your kids like more ideas and stuff like that. Another thing is like maintenance. There's a crossover there of like you learn what things work when you're camping.
Yeah.
And sometimes in prepping, you don't really know for sure. You keep things stored away and you've never used them. So, but a lot of these supplies, and that's the biggest thing, is like a lot of the gear that I have
Yeah.
can dual as a prepping item.
Yeah, we'll talk about more of that.
And so,
about
yeah,
that
you'll go into
later
detail there.
too.
But yeah, so there's a lot of similarities that help kind of augment your prepping, and you can use it. And we'll go into the details about that
For sure.
but-
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things about camping is there are a lot of skills as a camper that you can hone and work on that really cross over to preparedness
Yep.
as a prepper.
Only so much you can read and
Yeah.
watch videos on. You
Yeah.
have to
You got to do it.
You really do.
And camping is a great way to get out and actually do that stuff with a purpose in mind. Like you're relaxing, you're doing all this stuff, but as you're doing all these things, there's a million different skills that you're honing that are a great crossover for prepping. So let's look at a few of those. This one might seem weird, but really think about it. Planning.
Planting or plan?
Planning. Planning.
The Utah.
Yeah.
The Utah planning. I'm planning some stuff.
Yeah, I know. Planning. Have you ever gone camping and forgot something?
Every time.
Every single time you do that, right?
Every time.
And it teaches you the next time. It's like, I need to write a list. I need to make sure I have this. I need to make sure I've thought about this beforehand.
All like prepping stuff, right?
That's exactly what prepping is, right? So that's why it's a great dry run for a lot of different prepping scenarios and prepping in general. How about thinking about like, where am I going to put my tent? How am I going to set up camp? All of this is very useful as a skill for preparedness. So anyways, like bugging out, obviously, planning your bug in plan, your bug out plan. If you're bugging out to the wilderness, obviously this is a great thing to plan, So anyways.
A lot of like bugging out scenarios in my mind. That's why I picture it's just like a little camping trip.
Right, yeah. And it's not necessarily going to be that way.
Not at all. Yeah.
But it could be.
Yeah.
It could be, right? The next one is shelter building. Obviously, when you camp, and that's not just, I'm not saying like building like an igloo out of snow. Like, yes, that's part of it, but also just setting up a tent, being proficient at doing that kind of thing. A tarp shelter. And again, crude lean-tos are kind of part of that as well. But when you camp, those are things that you're doing every single time, unless you're obviously in a 30-foot trailer.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're talking about, right? These are great skills for preppers. Who knows when you're going to have to build a shelter, if you get lost in the wilderness or something like that, or, something goes down, you have to bug out. You don't have your regular bug out location. Right. You're making a plan B. You can put something together if you have a tarp and some cordage or whatever.
And a lot of time, like camping, we've like set up a little shelter just for like gear to get out of the way.
Yes.
And like protect it from
or just
rain
a place to
and
chill
stuff.
outside.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? So anyways, shelter building is a huge one. How often do you go camping and somebody doesn't get cut? Somebody doesn't get a bug
It's usually
bite.
me every time.
Yeah. Somebody doesn't sprain an ankle.
Oh yeah, every time.
It happens every single time, right? So I think first aid is another skill that is used often with camping that crosses over.
Yeah, we just went camping and just from like Bennett was just chopping a tree and it got a big old blister and it like peeled. I'm like, every time. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Like every single time something like that happens. So this gives you a chance to work on your first aid skills, but it also gives you a chance to try out those first aid kits and see what kind of gear, what kind of things in that kit are going to be needed on some sort of a bug out situation or something like that, right? Because you're in a similar type situation. It's not exactly the same, obviously, but it's really similar. So first aid kits, all that is a great skill that crosses over from camping to prepping. The classic water skills. We were talking about this earlier.
Water skills.
We didn't really have water skills as kids. We just drank
really
whatever
didn't.
was there.
If it was liquid, you just drink it.
Yeah, just whatever. Pepsi here. Have a Pepsi, right? Like
That's
that.
why you never drink water.
I seriously, like, we were camping, I was drinking Pepsi.
I know. I think that's all we did is drink soda too.
That's probably why I never remember having filters, because we just drank Pepsi for everything.
You don't need anything more.
Yeah, you boil that Pepsi before you drink it.
You want that chicken to taste good? Pour some Pepsi on it.
I probably would taste good. No doubt it would. So many times, like depending on where you're camping, you might have to purify that water. You might have to boil it. You might have to go get water from a spring or something like that, right? So this gives you a chance to use those different purification methods and see what you like best, see what filters work great for you, all that kind of stuff. So water skills, huge.
Yeah.
Cameron. Knots. If you camping, you got to tie a knot at some point. Like, you're always tying knots.
Yep.
It's the only time I'm ever tying knots, it feels like. Either I'm going to the dump or I'm camping. It's the only time I'm making knots, right? So it's a good...
And the thing is, no matter how, like, unorganized your knot is, you're like, I'll just keep tying, and it comes undone somehow. If it's for some... Like, if it's like a swing or something, it'll come undone. Exactly. So you need to learn.
You do need to learn. So it's a good chance to hone that skill with knots, right? Like Cam was talking about, how about knife and axe skills?
Yeah.
Right? Chopping, cutting firewood and kindling, cutting cordage, making shelter. Again, how often do you use an axe? How often do you use a knife in that way?
I sleep with one every night.
He sleeps with an axe every single night. Why the wife's
But it
freaked
is
out.
when my kids have used. That's the only time that they can use it kind of freely.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, be careful with it.
You
Cut
don't
your
run
finger
around the
open,
neighborhood
you'll
with it.
learn. Right.
Yeah, you don't just like it's not like a
They're
something.
not whittling up in their room. No.
No, so like it's the chance for them to do
Clean
that.
up all that sawdust.
Yeah.
Sick of it.
That kindling's getting in my way. It's in the hallway.
Patch that sheetrock hole. I'm tired
Yeah.
of you cutting holes in
That's
it.
your firewood in the bathtub. Get it out of there. All right.
That's what I think people. That's how they think we live.
I know. It's like not that way at all.
You get your bowl done. You can eat when you finish your bowl.
Oh, you make a spoon, or you're gonna sip right from the bowl.
Sip out of your hands, or
Yeah.
you can make your own bowl.
Exactly. Speaking of that, how about outdoor and alternative cooking methods?
Yeah.
Right? It's a great opportunity to try those propane stoves or even the campfire cooking, which is my favorite. I love to cook over
I
a
do too.
campfire. There's nothing better than a steak cooked over a campfire.
Yeah. I remember being on a scout trip
Mm.
and watching the guy put an egg in just a paper cup and
Mm-hmm.
then setting it in the fire. And I'm like, how? What? It's like magic.
Yes.
Didn't burn the cup and
This is
boiled the
sorcery.
egg. I'm like, what is going on? So
Yeah.
that was a skill I picked up.
Yeah,
Good
for
one.
sure. But even just like eating dehydrated or freeze dried meals, it's a
Yep.
great time to try that kind
That's
of
all
stuff.
we ate this camping trip.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to try a bunch of different ones.
Mm-hmm. Did you find anything good?
Oh, the nutrient survival was good.
Exactly. That's exactly. So it's a great chance
I did
to
it
try
actually.
that stuff.
The Southwestern medley.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got a little video all posted.
Oh,
at some
nice.
point.
That
It's
sounds good.
You can you can just taste how much healthier it is. It's like
Yeah.
not very salty. It's just
Yeah.
good stuff.
It's a different level.
A little
different
pitch there,
level.
little pitch.
Yeah. Fire starting.
For sure.
If I don't have a campfire, I'm not actually camping.
Yeah.
So you have to have a campfire, right? So this is a perfect skill to hone while camping that has great crossover to preparedness. And you know what I mean? What fire starters work the best? Can you start a fire with a ferro rod? How to best build your fire pit? Like there's so many things that you're doing
There are.
that have a huge crossover.
The safety in the fire too.
Yeah.
That's like I always teach my kids like gotta dig a big old hole.
Mm-hmm.
Tawny's dad basically will use like 600 gallons to put a fire out. Just
Yeah,
keeps dumping
I
water,
know.
dumping
Yeah.
water, and dumping water. But yeah.
And I get it. That's a great. I take a piss and I'm done. You know what I mean?
I know.
That's the end of it for me.
I don't know. You piss on him?
Yeah.
I just poop on him.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I thought we had to do number 2 on
I
there.
thought you pee on it and then you do number 2 to
Yeah.
seal the deal.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it
It
does.
really does.
Ain't burning.
Drop a duker on there. And then if you got 3 boys, you got 3 of you.
Put a fire out.
Honey, you got to take a crap because we got to get this fire out.
I did my part. Now
Yeah.
one of you guys got to. Everybody poop on it real quick.
Everybody's got to pitch in.
Everybody put back to back.
It's
Support each
weird
other.
if we look in each other's eyes when we're doing this.
Back to back. Hold hands. Lock elbows.
Imagine driving by, seeing a family all taking a crap on a campfire.
At least we're safe about it.
Yeah. Well, that's family right there. That's
Speaking
family.
of things to learn, you learn, family bonding
Exactly.
during camping.
Nothing gets you closer than taking a crap on a campfire. It sounds like it could be like a commercial. Nothing gets you closer than taking a crap on a
Isn't it
campfire.
about time?
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
exactly. So, crapping on campfires. Communication. Now, this one is maybe a little more out there, but I think it does make sense. If you and I go camping, you've got to communicate to your family where we're going.
Yeah,
Right? Like, they got to
exactly.
know. This pisses me off. My dad does this all the time. He's like, I'm going to go out to Book Cliffs. I want to be out for like 3 days and by myself. I'm like, bro, you got to tell me where you're going.
Yeah,
Because if you don't
exactly.
come back, the Book Cliffs is a big place. I'm never finding you
Yeah.
out there. You've got to give me, so then like, at least tell me which
like-
canyon you're starting in.
I know it's
Okay.
true. Going to southern Utah. Okay, well, there's a ton of space down
I'm
there.
going to go in the mountains for 3 days. Which mountains,
Yeah,
Dad?
yeah.
Which mountains are you
Down
talking
here is like
Yeah.
all around us. Which
about? Exactly. So you got to learn to communicate that kind of stuff. Also, like in some way or method to stay in touch while you're out camping, whether they're with you or if they're at home, right? So that means your cell phone, maybe it's a sat phone, maybe it's an inReach type of, device like Garmin type thing, right?
For sure.
It's a great time to utilize those things. Even if you're camping with them or with some sort of a group, you need to communicate when you're leaving the campsite, if you're going on a hike, where you're going, when you're coming back. Communication is key to staying safe while camping, and it's also like obviously one of the most important skills for preparedness.
For sure.
So I know that one maybe is not like directly.
I actually have a little more on that anyway. So
Great. I like that. Very good. How about problem solving skills?
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't gone camping and not had a problem?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Every single time, like the tent's either broken or the stove is
We've blown a
out
tire
of fuel.
like every time in my
Yes.
childhood.
Blowing a tire, the campsite's taken that you wanted.
Generator quits working. You know,
Mm-hmm. Cell phone dies. I mean,
stroke.
Yeah, but yeah. Onset diabetes.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
Mid camp.
Yeah. Oh, there's that pesky diabetes. Coming back.
And stroke again.
Yes.
Kids, you gotta get us
Every
home.
time I go camping.
I remember thinking though, as a kid, like, what if something happened to my dad? How
Yeah.
would I get home?
Dude, I used to think about that all
it
the
like
time.
freaked me out, and so it's.
Well, I was thinking about how do I help him.
Did anybody help and tell me how to get home?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, how would I help him? I didn't think about that.
How
I
am
was
I
like,
gonna get
how am
home?
I going to get back?
I gotta go
playing
to school
Nintendo?
on Monday. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, problem solving skills. It gives you a good chance to hone that skill of problem solving and what is preparedness if not problem
Right.
solving, right?
Yeah, always something breaks.
Always.
Tent doesn't work. You're missing a pole.
Yeah.
Blow a tire.
Don't find Bigfoot.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a problem.
We've
had that.
experienced that.
How about the bushcraft?
Yes.
Bushcraft. There's nothing better than bushcrafting.
Mm-hmm.
And when else do you do it other than camping? You know, I don't just like Friday night go bushcrafting. Like really, you do it when you're out camping, right? And
Yep.
so
Poker on Wednesdays, bushcrafting on Thursdays.
poker on yeah.
Poker. Not that poker.
Oh, now you got me all flummoxed. So obviously, yeah, camping in the woods, you need to have some sort of bushcrafting skills, and camping is really pretty much the only time you're going to do that. So great time, and those are great crossover skills, right?
For sure.
Hiking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily like you're always hiking when you're camping, but what else do you do when you're out there? You go hiking.
That's
around
usually
the
my
woods.
boredom. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go hike up this hill.
Exactly.
Or
Yeah. So
take a hike.
Dig a hike, bro. So that's a great skill. Obviously, if you're bugging out, anything like that. Hiking,
sure.
Hiking, fishing. Again, many times that's like the focus of a camping trip. We're gonna go fishing, right? And what better skill for a prepper than know how to catch your own food?
For
Food
sure.
procurement.
That's what we did the most.
Is it? Did you catch anything?
Yeah, we got some really good stuff up in.
Nice.
Yeah, that was great up there.
you
Now
cook
it's
'em up?
all like fenced off, and you have to
Oh, yeah.
like wade the river because everybody owns everything up there now.
Makes sense. Makes sense. This one kind of goes along with the hiking navigation. It gives you a chance to use a compass or a map. Maybe you're using the stars in some way, shape, or form. I ain't never done it, but you could do it.
It's hard.
Learning how to follow and see trails and roads and things like that. I mean, you should know how to follow a road, I guess, but the trails, like with the trail markers and things like that, you know.
Big, big paved. Where would I go with this?
I want to see if you can get
Across it only?
What am I supposed to do? Do I walk in the middle? What am I doing?
Follow the hash line.
Yeah, follow the hash line. So, anyways, lots of opportunity to use navigation skills while you're camping. Sanitation, right?
That is a tough one.
You're all pooping on a campfire once. There's problems there, could be, but even just like pooping without a bathroom, how do you get it done? It's a skill, right?
I'm pretty sure most of my kids, including my wife,
Yeah.
just hold everything
Yeah.
the whole entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to figure it out.
You
you
gotta
got to
let
go
it-
poop in that hole.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to be down there.
No,
If they are, poop on their face. though.
poop on their face. Exactly. Yeah, and
Those are creepy to poop in, though.
like the outhouses
like-
that we're talking about.
Yeah, like if you go like,
Yeah.
11 p.m. and go
Oh,
in
yeah.
that, it's like, this is kind of creepy.
What's in that hole?
Yeah.
What's down there, right? Keeping yourself clean on the go, right? When you're camping is a big deal. You can't just get all dirty and not clean yourself. And then keeping the food safe and edible without kitchen refrigeration,
That's
that kind
true.
of stuff. That is a skill that you definitely learn because if you're out there for more than one day, it's a problem that you have to deal with and figure out how to handle. So, Cam mentioned this once: resilience. Camping is fun, but sleeping on the ground for a few days without a shower, it kind of sucks.
It does kinda
It's like
suck.
it's not great.
Everything's great up until the point you have to go to bed for me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
really.
this sucks. Like but you want to, but you're like, I'm just gonna suck.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. So this is a good way to teach you some resilience, to get you out of your comfort zone.
I had a nightmarish night. I was like, the floor is wider, and I don't have a kid next to me. I'm just gonna sleep on the floor. It was a disaster.
Was it? Not fun.
Like the little air mattress thing I had, which kept sliding up the side of the. I'm like, this. So yeah, I hate it. Once again, can't stand sleeping.
Yeah.
I should just take some meth the whole time I'm camping. Stay up the whole time.
That's the key to it. This a little bit of meth gets you through a camping trip, right? But yeah, resilience, man. It does teach you that. Packing a pack. How many? I mean, usually you've got a backpack. Maybe you're going to get a day pack for hiking or something like that. This is a great practice for a bug out bag, for a get home bag, or like an inch bag even, because there's a skill to packing those things,
for sure.
right? And putting the correct stuff in, putting it in an order that makes sense, putting it in a way that you can carry it without it like tipping to one side and falling over, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, we always let our kids put theirs together, and then we try and show them like, you have 6 underwear, no socks,
yeah,
and 1 t-shirt.
yeah.
Like,
No.
what did you do wrong?
Yeah.
What did you do
Let's
wrong?
think about this. Let's think about it, right? This last
They're
one I
standing
have.
there with their knuckles bleeding and a hatchet. I don't know what you're trying to tell me.
I just wanted underwear, Dad.
The hatchet's in the fire.
He puts
I don't know why that fire gets
underwear on
going.
the
They
hatchet.
lose their minds.
Oh,
like,
no, yeah.
it's like throwing rocks in it and like
Lord of the Flies.
sticking their shoe in. You're like, get your foot out of there.
You idiot. Kids are dumb. All right. Last one.
They sure are.
This one is kind of weird.
No,
but-
I thought this one's great. I think
Right.
this is a good idea.
Like, how many times have you been out camping and all of a sudden, well, this happened to me all the time. Well, not all the time. It happened
How
to
much
me.
you camping?
I know. Happened to me frequently when I was, a full summer up at the Spirit Lake Lodge. Because those storms
bet they
come
were
in
intense out
so
there.
fast. And we experienced this when we were up there for the Bigfoot film, right? They come in out of nowhere, it feels like. And so weather watching, and not necessarily weather watching, but understanding those storms, how they come in, what to look for, what to do when they do come in, if it's lightning, if it's rain, if it's snow, all that kind of stuff. It's a great time to start to figure that kind of stuff out, because what a great skill to have, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I remember like several of our family trips that stick out the most had like a really bad weather event in it.
Wasn't there one where you were like laying down in a field or
Oh,
something?
yep. This was a fishing trip. So
Was
we
it?
were like
Okay,
clear
yeah.
out in the meadow and this storm rolled in and it was like intense lightning.
Yeah.
And my parents are like, you got to get down. You got to get low. And like, it was just drenching us. And I was like, I got to pee. And I just let it go. And I'm like, that was the best I felt for like 2 minutes.
Yep.
And then I froze again. But it took forever for that to pass over. And we're
Yeah.
just like, you never know.
You just don't.
So-
But anyways, that's another
But
story.
it did teach me to get down,
Yeah.
pee my pants when a storm comes in.
Now-
I do it to today.
Now every time there's a thunderstorm, I
Go
lay
sit out
down,
on the deck and just
piss my
pee.
britches. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyways, skills.
No, it's great.
Great for camping.
This is some of this that I was going to talk about. Kind of adds to what you were already
Yeah.
saying. I mean,
Yep.
it's a little crossover here, but camping allows for a unique experience that you really can't teach
Yeah.
within your home
No.
or in a necessarily like a little day camp or something that kids
Mm-hmm.
experience. Like you get these unique experiences that teach them because they learn what works, what doesn't work. So some of those things that you can really help teach your kids or even like a group that you're with is it's a real good experience to survive off the grid.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have the pantry to walk into all the time.
Oh my gosh, how would you live
Yeah.
without a pantry?
So they'll eat all the snacks right the first day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they realize, wow, we have a limit here, and it's too late.
they're all gone.
They ate all the good stuff. They
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
have to wait for dinner each time. And then other things, the discomforts where they don't have something to keep themselves occupied if they're bored, like we talked about. It really teaches them to just like find things to do and to enjoy being away from the regular world and rinse and repeat day, the mundane.
Yeah, exactly.
Teach your kids to be less dependent on tech, but also how to use tech while camping.
Sure.
So like lighting and how to efficiently set up a camp that's safe, and like that's the one thing is like I don't completely eliminate tech, but it kind of breaks them away from the internet and the TV and stuff. They don't do any of that.
Yeah.
But they still can use some of those like my kids love flashlights, as I do.
Yes.
But it's like as soon as the sun goes down, like that's what they're doing. Is they're like,
when the sun goes down. I don't know why the
that
second you
sounded
said
pretty
that.
good. That
That's what I-
sounded totally like Brooks
That's what
and
I
Dunn.
heard, man.
When the sun goes.
That'd be a great little like parody song we could do, and they're just getting the flashlights out.
Yeah, that's
Camping.
great.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Put that on the album coming out 2024.
But they use those things and they kind of like, navigate around the camp and stuff with low lighting and stuff like that. It also teaches a family just kind of better communication amongst themselves or with a group. And you were talking about that in terms of like telling them where you're going or, where you're at and things like that. But also it kind of helps to coordinate like who's going to do this part. Like, are you going to set up the tent over here while I go and get firewood, and then you guys are gonna do this. Like, it kind of helps that leadership skill to be developed a little more, and just how to keep things organized.
Yeah, we used
never
to,
works out that well.
No, but I think it's good to at
but
least
you
try.
kind of go through of like, why don't you go get like my son loves to gather the wood.
Yeah,
so he goes up and chops everything to pieces and brings back like fresh tree branches with leaves on them.
Green stuff. Like
so,
we used to do like when we with our girls, like every night one of them would have to help with the dinner and they would pick it, right? And so they would help cook the dinner. And so it's just, another thing to learn
exactly
about in this process. Yep. Right.
So it kind of gives them that opportunity to do more outside of every day.
Yeah.
And then the taste of wilderness, just getting out there. My son, it's funny, when we went up camping, he was just like, this is what I want to do. I love this. This is camping. He's like, this is what I live for. It's so funny to hear a 10-year-old just say like, this is what I live for. And I'm like, man, I guess we need to camp more. We'd actually gone up, had a fire the night before, and I'm like pretty anti-camp on Memorial Day because it's so crowded and so ridiculous. But it was really quiet. And since he was like all super into it, we're like, let's just go back up. So we ended up spending the night. But it's funny because they don't experience that stuff and they don't think about it. And then a lot of the memories I have are about camping with my family, and they build those too. And those skills start to come back. He remembered last time when he took a hatchet and cut like a spear or something. So they go back to doing those same things. The other thing is what was it? Fear. So camping's kind of creepy. It's dark. It's unknown. You don't know who's around you. You don't know what that truck's doing, cutting through your camp at
that's
midnight.
the worst. Yeah, when it's like midnight. I don't know why.
You hear like a vehicle pulling up or something. Yeah, and it just makes you think like, what if in a bug out scenario that's going to be way more like, way more intense.
I always think about that too. It's never like I'm not scared of bears or mountain lions. It's always like the people driving through near your campsite at like 1 a.m.
I hate
You're
that.
like, what are these people doing?
Yeah. I'm like, did they just get drunk at camp and now they're on a little joyride? And so you kind of learn to like, how would you deal with this? And I mean, I usually take a gun camping. I always have one on hand, and I'm on point.
5.56?
No, I have like 50 cal up on top
Oh, that
of the
makes
trailer.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to tell you the caliber. I don't want to ruin this whole podcast.
Tent turret.
Right. And then, like you said, just like problem solving, when things break, like try to involve your kids to like fix that problem and see what they would do and how to do it.
Usually I just get too frustrated. I'm like, get out of my way. I'll
Me
just
too.
get it fixed.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, it's a problem for me.
They drop everything and lose the tools. And So, but there's a lot you can learn in that environment, pulling them away from the regular road. You just can't teach at home in the backyard. Yeah. So that's what's so cool about camping. I want to talk to you real quick about cybercrime. That it happens when you're camping sometimes.
Yeah, you never know.
But we spend a lot of time on our phones. We shop online, and all of our information that we use, credit cards and everything, is all susceptible to those thievery people.
Hate them.
So you can protect yourself though. Is you can get Surfshark, and it's a virtual private network that can protect you and all of your devices from online threats. One subscription. Anything that connects to the internet can go through Surfshark, whether it be through the router or from access through the app. And you don't even know. It'll just go in the back. Oh.
Hello.
It'll just be in the background protecting you. And if it goes offline, you don't have internet. So you know that you're unprotected. Pretty cool stuff.
I think what I love about this is like it's, on your preparedness checklist, It's so simple to get that checked off. Oh, I got Surfshark. Boom.
It's in, yeah,
Cyber security is like beefed up
right.
with one easy little
That's
thing.
so true.
That's
you
what
don't
I
have to
love about it.
Download 16 different like
Yeah.
malware and antiviral stuff.
And you don't
If you
have to
protect
like
yourself.
you don't have to do a million things. Like a lot of times with prepping, stuff is so difficult. It's like, oh, I gotta do all this research. I gotta do all this. I gotta.
It
get
goes
this and
without
this.
saying.
It goes without saying. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you
But
know.
yeah, it is. It's like one of the simplest ways to protect from the probably one of the more likely risks, like for us, is
Yeah.
to get our information stolen or to, click on that email, that enhancement email that you've been looking at for a
They're
while.
trying to get you.
Yeah.
They can't really enhance it.
Right.
I've looked at all of them. They ain't gonna work.
Hopefully Surfshark was on.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So they can't
100%.
trace it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome service, super easy to use. Use our code Casual Preppers for 83% off from 24 months, plus you get 3 extra months. So for more than 2 years, you're protected for less than $60. You're dumb not to do this.
You're stupid.
I have subscribed to this twice now with my own monies.
Booyah.
And used our Casual Preppers code, and man, I feel so protected.
You do.
Especially if you're a traveler and you go on like Wi-Fi, you definitely want something
Yes,
like this.
for sure.
So
we talked about this briefly, but camping gear can definitely, much of the camping gear can duel as survival or preparedness gear. Like almost all of it when you get down and think about it, right? And so the nice thing about that is you're double dipping. It's more cost efficient and it's more convenient because it's not like Cam was saying, he's like, oh, we need this for camping. But he's not letting on to the whole thing like, oh, it's actually a preparedness item, right? So it's something you can slip past the goalie if you need to without, getting in trouble and putting it on the list of stuff
it
you
can
had to
be.
buy.
I think we even have mentioned that, like in how do you get my family into prepping? You say, well,
Let's
or
get into camping.
prepping. Yeah, let's get into camping.
Yeah, why not, right? And because honestly, it can be very expensive to get all the survival and prepper gear that you need.
For sure.
It is not a cheap
And it's
thing
harder
to
to
do.
not use it.
Yeah.
Like that's the hard thing that people are like, I'm not utilizing all this gear. It's like food prep. That's what sucks.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I know.
it's just a lot of space. I'm not going to eat it. It's 25 years sitting there.
It's tough. I
this
get
stuff,
it, man.
yeah.
So that's the thing. So if you're double dipping, if you're buying gear that can be used for both, you're saving money, but you're also giving yourself a chance to utilize that gear to test it before it's a critical emergency, right? You've used this. You've been camping with it, 10 times. Something comes down and you actually have to use this in an SHTF scenario or an emergency scenario. You've done it. You know what works. You've gone through all the kinks already. It's not like an emergency situation where you're trying to work through those kinks. You've already done it.
Yeah.
Right? You've done it in a time where it wasn't an emergency and you were just like, oh, okay, that didn't work. That's all right. I'm going home tomorrow. It's all good, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the nice thing. So if you think about some really basic stuff that is great for camping and prepping, I'm just going to go over a quick list. Obviously, tents. Those things are great for both. Fire starting gear, obviously. Packs, any sort of a pack. Backpack, duffel bags, or anything where you're packing stuff for camping or hiking. It's a great crossover thing. Cooking, yes, and that's gear and food, right? It's not just the cooking stuff, but the food as well. Clothing is a great crossover item. There's a lot of stuff for that you wear for camping that's also great for preparedness. USB chargers, power banks, solar power stuff.
Yep, I use that stuff all the time.
All the freaking time. First aid kits, we talked about that already. Sleeping bags, we hate them, but you got to have them, right? Hygiene kits, that's a huge one, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have something like that when
I
you're
love
camping.
those. That's why I like those little wipes. And I
man.
use those. Remember those little the little packets you pour in your mouth to brush your teeth and swish around?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff for
Yeah.
hygiene.
I use those. I've used those too. I keep them in my EDC
So
bag.
weird when you first hit your tongue. You're
It's
like
funky,
and
yeah.
it foams up.
Yeah, for sure. But it works. It really does. Flashlights, headlamps, lanterns. Again, when the sun goes down.
When the sun goes
Exactly.
down.
See, those are great things that are crossover items. Your wife can't say anything to you. This is good for camping, babe.
Yep.
It's not just for survival. Knives, hatchets, axes, anything sharp is a great crossover item. Cordage, your paracord, your rope, any sort of cordage. Field guides and books. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever those might be. If it's a
I
survival
actually
guide.
have a couple of books that we've gotten from BattleBox on like living off the grid and stuff that's in my trailer.
Yeah, why not?
I know,
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
you can read it while you're bored and you can apply it.
Yeah, a little extra security just in case. Who knows? And there's a million other ones, but it's a great time. It's a great thing that it's crossover because you can learn what is garbage, you can learn what is useless, and you can learn what really works well.
Yeah.
And it's crossover, man.
Yeah.
It's saving you money too. So
It is. And I like that you'd said, like, on this next part, you'd said, like, you can go home after this.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Yeah.
this is the perfect time to kind of set up a plan of, like, I need to try this stuff.
Yep.
I'm a little unsure about it, but I will come back in a day or two. It's not like you're going to be, this is life or death.
Yep.
And that's the thing I like about camping is because I do, when I go, like this last time that we went, I took a few things that I've never used just to see how well they work. If they don't work, I'm coming home the next day.
Exactly. It's
So
not a big deal.
So it's so nice that camping can be done that way. And I think it's a good idea and a good opportunity to actually think that way of like, okay, if we were to live off the grid, bug out, go to our bug out location or whatever, like I want to use these things. So and not only did I do this to try and find some stuff to post.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Obviously, that's just what we do. But it was also to really test it out and see how useful it'd be and if it's something that would end up in my bug out bag rather than just sit on the shelf,
Yeah.
And to apply those skills like we were talking about, there's no way you can learn from just watching a video over and over. Like you have to apply those things. Like self-defense, would you learn any of that by just watching videos? I know a lot of people are like, I'll watch. You learn and see how it's done, but you have to, it's not going to stick, right?
Yeah, it's funny because it's funny you say that because yesterday I had to cover class because the regular teachers weren't there, and I'm like, oh crap, what do I need to do? So during the day I was looking at videos, and I had like 4 or 5 moves. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go over this stuff, and like as soon as I got to class, I got Shane over there. I'm like, hey, let me try these. 2 of them I could not get to work at all. I'm like, I don't know what they were doing, so I'm like, I'm not even gonna do those. So it shows you that. It's not necessary. You can't just learn it necessarily from the video.
It may not work for you
It
either.
may not work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good lesson. I learned that lesson. I'm like, frick, man.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
That did not work. I'm glad I didn't get into class and, haven't tried it.
Right.
So,
right. And just on that note of like making it a bug out experience, like maybe do try and like eliminate I always do. I always try and eliminate communication with the the regular world.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, sweet, I'm not going to get texts about somebody's ingrown toenail tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
But also like really try and make it as if you were going to be out there for a long time. I have my bug out bag, but I do have interest and I have like an inch bag. So, and that one is really the one that I like to like see how this gear is going to work. Is it something that I could live with this equipment for, and who knows how long.
Look, when we did the Bugging Out podcast, we did an overnight bug out experience.
Yeah, we did.
Where we did it in that way, and it was, again, of course, the weather sucked.
It did.
We're going up there, and it was like a monsoon, which it rains twice a year in our neck of the woods.
That was true.
You know what I mean? And so it was a great experience to go through that and go, oh, man, I really hope I don't actually have to do this, but if I do, there are a few things that I need to make sure I'm considering.
That's exactly right. That's exactly how I
We
felt.
learned some lessons.
This would not be fun to do in a scenario where you're like watching out for people.
Yeah.
You're trying to be quiet and private and oh man, that'd be tough.
But anyways, go listen to the Bugging Out podcast because I
think that's a great one for
you
the
can
camping.
hear us go through that scenario in one of those episodes.
Yeah.
The Bugging Out podcast on all podcast platforms.
Right.
Go check it out.
And another thing is you can really, and we've already mentioned this too, but a little more detail is like, you want to be comfortable because you want to take stress off from your kids. And so it's the only time that I've ever found like what things will give my kids some comfort and some entertainment to like help us enjoy like the evenings when you can't get out in the forest and run around and do whatever. It's like when you're in camp and you're waiting to get sleepy and go to bed, like it kind of just teaches you find those things that you can do. I get glow sticks because my kids like love them, and for some reason, when they have them, they just don't feel like they'll go run around in the middle of the like night and cross rivers with them on. I'm like,
exactly,
come on, like it like takes that fear out of them,
Yeah.
and so that's one thing that I've learned with my family that I think you kind of learn of like what ways you can kind of help your family to not feel so stressed out. and comfortable. The sleeping bags, I hate them. And so we found different ones that open up more that kind of turn into a blanket or just use certain blankets.
Yep.
Like the wool ones we've gotten from Battle Box. I'll do a regular blanket in that wool one, and it's warmer than anything.
For sure.
Like it works super well. So you find that out. Also, a bottle of Ambien.
At least a
It
bottle.
goes so far.
Goes a long way.
No, also with the camping, it allows you to do some get some exercise in that maybe you don't normally do. Like if you're running on a treadmill and stuff like that. And I've gone camping where you're hiking with a backpack. It works some weird muscles, man.
That you don't ever
You're
work
just like,
otherwise.
why's my pelvis hurt?
Yeah, dude. I went on a camping, or not, it was a hunting trip in the roadless
that one
area.
you were gone for.
I thought I was going to die. I thought death was coming to me at any moment. But it really shows you if I was in a situation where I had to do that with a pack for that many miles, I'm not ready for it. You know, I'm really not. And it just kind of gives you a sense of reality. Like, you can't just get a 40-pound pack and go.
Right.
It's not how it's going to work.
Yeah.
You have to be ready for it.
So flexible, you need to be, you need to really be exercising in other ways. Just exercising in general. Like,
yeah, for sure.
If you got the other stuff underway, you can probably push through with a lot of the others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, never give up.
Never give up.
What's the...
I don't know.
What was that book that we read?
Oh, yeah.
Never finished.
Never
finished.
Never finished. That's right.
So yeah. And then the last thing is we talked about this too, like learning to solve problems together. And like you said, it gets frustrating to have someone helping you when you're just pissed and like frustrated. But it's a good opportunity to like bring your kids into like, or learn skills from other people that are with you. Like they may be super good at setting up a tent. Without like an actual tent kit, like the ones that can pull it up in the trees and all that crap. I don't know how to do any of that, but I've seen people do that, and that's a good opportunity just to ask them how they do that. Maybe just wander over from your camp. Hey, how'd you put that tent on? People love that kind of stuff.
Oh, they'd love to hear from you in those scenarios.
I hear your generator's running. It's not sputtering or anything. What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I get so frustrated. And my kids, they love to call. Like when I get frustrated, the curse words come out, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what
and
happens.
They like to like, hey.
Hey, you said a curse word. I'm like,
I know. They make you.
And it makes it worse.
It does, yeah.
Like if I ever said that to my dad growing up, he'd be like, I'll show you curse word, boy. Curse word you to death.
Hostage situation starts early tonight.
Exactly. Tell you what right now.
But these shelters fail not just like a tent and all that, but like campers, your sleeping bag got a hole in it or something like that, and you just kind of figure out ways to prevent those problems and to fix them. Yeah. And then other thing is I've gotten sick on a camp trip. And that's the worst, man.
There's nothing worse.
Because you don't have any like you don't have a way to be comfortable and like just wait it out, take some medicine. You're usually low on everything. And that's not a bad thing because if you experience that, you realize what you need to have prepared. And you were talking about the forgetfulness thing. It's just like, oh crap, we don't have any ibuprofen. Yeah. Or we don't have like liquid ibuprofen for the kids. Or
forgot toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Yeah.
No salt and pepper.
That was the one I was going to mention.
Is it? Yeah. Like
so many times I've forgotten that, and I'm just like, I don't even want to eat.
Yeah. Well, I'm not eating eggs without salt and pepper.
It's horrible.
Yeah. It's worthless garbage.
But camping really does, it's probably the best opportunity for you to practice those bug out scenario stuff. So
yeah, so in talking about camping and bugging out, we say how there's a lot of similarities, but that only goes so far. You know, it really does. There's going to be some very radical differences between bugging out and camping. Right, Cam? What are you smiling at?
Did you type something in the end?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The ear thing?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll come back.
Okay.
I was just reading down and I was like, what the?
I did change that. I was hoping you were going to read it and say it at the same time.
Man.
Dang it. But yeah, so they're like what we're saying is like it's a great dry run, camping and bugging out, but that only goes so far.
Yeah.
It is not similar in many, many ways. Usually when you're camping, again, it's not life or death. So you don't have the same stress, you don't have the same anxiety, you don't have the same external factors that you would with any sort of bug out situation. You're always going to be relatively close to your vehicle or your car or civilization. At any time you can get in that car and drive home if you need to. That's the great thing about camping.
Yeah.
With bugging out, that's not the case. necessarily,
Yeah.
right? Like you're out there because you need to be away
I
from
think I'd
people.
mentioned that one time. My wife and I, just after we were first married, we went camping up in Logan, like up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
The burnt our food.
Yeah.
I cracked I got mad and threw the pan into the forest and like split it, backed into a tree.
Yeah.
We forgot bug repellent or mosquito repellent, and we ended up just coming home that night.
Yeah.
That's like,
It
man,
happens.
could you imagine if
Yeah.
you like bugged out and you were like, I don't have any of this, it's all falling apart, and it probably will.
But you
just
have
kind
to
of
stay.
learn how to deal with it.
Exactly. It's like you're thinking about, camping. It's nice to have some sort of communication or connection to the news or the real world or something when camping. Like, it's nice.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's kind of critical to have some sort of communication when you're bugging out.
Yeah.
Right? You have to know when you
We were
can
talking
get,
about those radios. the
yeah,
emergency
like you
radios.
have to know when to get back to the grid, when to get back to civilization. You have to know what's happening out there.
That's another thing I should try more is using. We did do it when we did our
Yeah,
bug out thing.
we
We
did,
tried
yeah.
our weather radios and stuff.
Exactly. While you will most likely encounter hordes of like idiot people when camping, that's the worst part of camping is all the people out there and I hate everyone pretty much.
Oh,
right?
I do too.
Yeah, and so I just like I don't want to see anyone. I want to go somewhere where I will not see anybody for the entire time I'm there.
Yeah.
That's what I want, right?
I was thinking the one good thing about Vernal
Yeah.
is if you had to bug out,
Uh-huh.
there's a trailer in every park that's
know.
just sitting there.
They actually
it's been
said
there all year.
They're cracking down on it
I
this year.
hope so.
I saw something on Facebook like
They need to.
they're asking for people to report them.
Oh, good. I'll do it.
I will too.
I'm
100%. Yeah.
count me in.
Count me
I'm
in.
signing on. Can I get a badge or something?
Deputize me. I'm gonna get
Can I
out there and
seriously
get
get
there.
a badge or something?
I know. Yeah. So, you're gonna encounter those type of people. They're gonna piss you off. They're gonna be annoying. You don't like it, but usually they're not gonna be hostile.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be trying to get the same resources. They're not gonna be trying to get your resources. Most likely, in a bug out scenario, all bets are off, man.
Yeah.
They could be nice to you, they could try and kill you the second they see you. So that's you're not going to like people in either scenario, but the one you could die. So just think about that, right? While camping, again, you can just pack up and go home when you've had enough. Not so in an SHTF scenario. So, and then, the last thing I was saying, like we talk about fishing being a big part of camping, which is fun, right? It's great. When you don't catch.
Yeah.
It's not a huge deal. You're not
Throw up
excited
my
about
line.
it.
I don't care. Throw the pole in. I have to
Spinner,
throw my pole in.
spinner
When I'm
again.
done fishing,
I'll buy a new
I
pole
throw
when
it
I get
off.
home. New pole when I get home. Doesn't matter. If you're in a bug out scenario, you got to have those calories.
yeah.
You need to eat. And so it's very, very different. But again, still valuable.
Yeah,
just
for
know
sure.
just know that there's going to be some really, really big differences
Yeah.
in a real
Yeah.
bug out scenario.
Just because you camp doesn't mean you're going to be the best.
Exactly.
And shouldn't practice other survival skills.
So that's camping for preppers.
Yeah.
Anything else, Cam, on that?
No. I was thinking when you were saying that they're cracking down on that,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just going to be like, oh, they took the best spot. Reported.
Reported, yeah, exactly. I was thinking about it. Like, if you just add a ping to your name, camping. All right. I was just thinking about
I was
that.
like, what? I wish my parents would have put that as my middle name. Cam Ping
Ping
Hardy.
Hardy. Yeah, he just camping.
No, that's funny.
Anyways,
That's a good one.
Today's podcast is brought to you by TacPack, the only monthly tactical subscription box with useful professional grade stuff inside. Use our code Casual Preppers and get a free $70 machine-made part from Next Level Armament. You guys, if you're going camping, you got to have your weapons.
You do.
You never know what's going to happen. Oh, and actually, I got the TacPack shirt on
Oh,
today.
you do.
Oh, so you can get cool shirts like this too from
Grandpa
TacPack.
hat and
I got the what did they call it? The dad hat.
The dad.
Yeah, dad hat. And
going
TacPack
golfing
shirt.
today.
yeah, I'm gonna go golfing. Gonna get it done.
It's time for the quick and dirty medical tip.
All right, so let's talk about otalgia, ear erections, and other stuff.
I was hoping like you were
COVID
gonna
changed the ear infections to
Yeah.
ear erections. Man, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Somebody says some whisper, some dirty words, get that ear erection.
Oh, I got an ear erection, baby.
Yeah. But I was going to just mention this because I see it a lot. And so I was thinking of how, like, when you're out bugging out, maybe this will come to mind, of how to identify whether or not it's maybe an outer ear infection, an inner ear infection, and some of the things you can do. So ear pain, a lot of people immediately with ear pain assume it's the ear. And that's not always the case. Could be your jaw, could be a dental issue.
Toe issue.
So really, could be depression, could be yeah,
Fibromyalgia.
yeah, it could be fibromyalgia. But really, you've got to like, if you're out on your own, or you've got to do a little bit more detailed physical exam. So
How do you do that on your own?
get a glove on, and just feel around your teeth, tap on your teeth, see if maybe it's a referred. I do it all the time.
I was tapping on my teeth all damn day.
Let me think about this.
Ow.
But
Ow.
yeah, but you want to do a more thorough assessment because you don't have the urgent care around the corner, so you got to figure this out on your own.
Okay.
But yeah, like maybe bite down on. I use like a number 2 pencil if I feel like it's a tooth. I'll just kind of bite and see if it's a bite tenderness. You can tap on the tooth, and if it's sensitive, maybe that is referred pain, because the ear itself, unless it's super infected and swollen, I mean, it doesn't produce pain that easily. So you got to look and see if it's really actually just an infection. If you're not having drainage and all that, it could be something else.
How's the drainage on the property?
So if you're trying to determine if it is an ear infection, like right at the front of your ear, a little bump, tragus. So if you actually
Traeger?
if you push on that, it puts you in trouble, that's for sure.
Traeger.
You get in trouble if you push on that. But if you push on that little bump in front of your ear, in front of the ear hole called the tragus, that, like, if it's tender to push, it's probably an outer ear infection.
So
it's in
I
the
do
ear
this
canal.
and tap my tooth at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Rub
What
my
is wrong with him?
rub my Traeger, tap my tooth.
Usually in a Subway, you're just like, you're in an Arby's, you're just in there tapping your tooth and rubbing your ear.
Taking
But then
me
if
to
it's
Arby's.
tender on the outside, or if you pull down on the earlobe, it's probably an outer ear infection. And so what you can do there, if you don't have, like, a lot of ophthalmic eye drops can be put in the ear. So if you have like some antibiotic eye drops, you can use them. That's what we use a lot for ear infections. I know. Same thing, basically.
But can
if
you use
don't-
Vagisil for
So
other
if you
orifices?
do, yeah. The tough thing is
Talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were. We went into detail on that.
We sure did.
But the if you have drainage and stuff, you don't know if the ear is perforated. You probably shouldn't be putting anything.
Mine probably is perforated.
Yeah, so
90% of the time, it's got a hole in it.
yeah. So again, these are steps to take only if you have nothing else, like nobody else to help you. I'm not saying you do it because I heard this tip the other day. Start doing weird crap with your ear.
Yeah.
You can
Head
tap
to
on your
Arby's
tooth all
and-
down.
Head to Arby's and tap on your teeth.
Right.
My ear hurts. Leave me alone.
If it's a middle ear infection, then you have those are painful. The hearing is typically muffled because you got fluid in the middle ear space, and not all of those have to be treated. But if they get worse and you're having fever and stuff, and if you have backup antibiotics, you probably should start using them.
Okay.
If your ear perforates, you'll have pain relief, which is nice, but then you're gonna have bloody discharge, and so it'll heal on its own.
Okay.
You don't want to put any drops in there. There are specific ones for the ear canal and stuff, but they're not good for the inner ear. And instead of going into detail, just if that happens, don't be putting anything in your ear.
Okay.
Just let it drain, and it should heal on its own. But if it's hurting bad, it's getting worse, you're fevering, you probably should start oral antibiotics. So anyways, those are some simple little ways you can tell if you have an ear erection.
Okay, so
Tap on your tooth,
yeah, rub your Traeger.
rub your trigger.
What is it when my ear all of a sudden like I lose hearing for a second?
And it rings or it makes
And
it's
then it comes
pressure
back.
change.
Okay, it
So-
happens to me all the time. I feel like I'm gonna fall over.
Yeah, air different. Yeah, the different temperatures in the air and like a change in pressure. But mine will just go zoop, and
Yeah,
just
mine
ring.
does-
You're
yeah.
like, what is that?
Yeah, weird. Ears are funky.
Yeah,
Funky
it's space.
dunky. It's space.
It's usually a rip.
dark matter.
It's usually a rip
Yeah.
going right through your head. Passing.
It's another dimension.
The vacuum is collapsing.
But black holes and whatnot.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All right,
So,
guys.
anyways, there you go.
That's great. That's all we got today. Thank
Go
you guys.
camping, rub your trigs,
Rub Tragus. Something like that.
tap your tooth all day long.
Yeah, head to Arby's. Get the roast beef. Tap your teeth.
Roast beef, tap your teeth.
That's what I always say.
That's
That's what my daddy always said.
Have a Pepsi. Tap your teeth, eat some roast beef.
Have a Pepsi.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you so much and stay survived.